I told you yesterday that today we would talk about seeds. So we planted a seed yesterday because we had to get that going. It takes a long time for something to grow. But today we're going to talk about all the different kinds of seeds we have. We're going to take a look at some different kinds. We're going to talk about the different ways that plants reproduce. And we're going to talk about different ways that seeds function, how they produce a plant, and also how they move. Does anybody remember the story about how seeds move? So we're going to talk about all those things. So first we're going to talk a little bit about the different seeds. So let me show you what I have. Okay, so here are all the different seeds I have to show you. Forgive the camera work on this one, but the only way I could get this one to work is to hold it myself, and so it's going to be a little unsteady. But we usually talk about, when we see all these seeds, the ones that we're used to seeing, maybe even the ones that we eat. So the ones I'm sure you probably will recognize are these right here. Those, of course, are peas. The things you eat when you eat peas are just the seeds. You're eating the seeds of the plant, so that's pretty cool. Now, some of them you eat and you probably don't even notice, which would be, let's see, there would be these guys right here, which are my tomato seeds. You eat tomato seeds usually anytime you eat a tomato, but you don't necessarily know it because they're so little, okay? And you also might think you recognize these right here. Anytime anybody sees these, they usually say something like pumpkin seeds. Those aren't pumpkin seeds, those are actually squash seeds. But anything in that family, we call that the squash family, looks about the same. So zucchini, winter squash like butternut squash and spaghetti squash and pumpkins and gourds, they all kind of look like that. So seeds in a similar family will often look similar. These up here you guys often talk to me about as well. Those are sunflower seeds. We do eat sunflower seeds as well. Usually at this point I tell everybody to make sure they remember that seeds that you purchase to plant are not edible. We don't ever try and eat seeds that we bought to plant because they might have something on them to make them grow faster, something like fertilizer or some kind of protection, and that's probably bad for you. So we don't eat seeds that we buy to plant. These guys over here are actually flower seeds. That's for cosmos and marigolds. And they just look like little bits of straw because they come from the center of the bloom of the plant. I always like to show these. These are kind of really cool. These are nasturtium seeds. They look kind of like brains. And that's what those guys are. And these right here are weird looking because those are carrot seeds. That's not actually what they look like though. They're wrapped in a little bit of clay that helps them grow. So sometimes your seeds don't, when you buy them, they don't actually look like what comes out of the plant. So that's just a glance at all the different seeds that we have. Okay, now we're going to talk about the different functions of a seed. A seed has a number of functions. One of the first ones is protection. Most seeds come with some kind of a case around them, something to protect the beginnings of the plant that is inside of it. Tomatoes, for example, you can't just take a tomato seed out of a tomato and plant it and get a plant. You have to do a little thing where you let the acid of the tomato kind of eat away at the case of the seed or it won't grow. If you look at even a green bean seed, the ones that we planted yesterday, they're kind of hard on the outside. They're not what you would normally eat. You usually cook those. That hard shell softens up. But a seed is kind of hard because it's protecting what's in it. So its first job is protection. Its second job is actually to feed the new plant. So when you look at a seed, you can kind of think of it like an egg. It has a hard shell on the outside to protect what's inside. And on the inside, you have everything you need to make a plant. So you have all the information the plant needs to grow properly, but you also have all the food the plant will need for a little while. So that's another way that that seeds are like eggs because they have a little bit of food in them. And the third function of a seed is to move. I know you guys, some of you will remember my stories about moving seeds. So if I say to you, how do seeds move? There's generally a few ways that you come up with. Seeds blow in the wind. We've all seen a dandelion. Seeds move on animals. I'll show you a little example of this right now. So that little guy was a squirrel who was digging in the mulch when I was at the library this morning in my car, not getting out of my car, but in my car, uploading these videos. And he was digging in the mulch, and he was digging up things that he might want to eat, and he's going to carry them somewhere else and bury them. That's another way seeds move. They attract animals by being delicious, and then the animals move them somewhere else. Another way is to grab onto an animal, including human, without them knowing. If you've ever gone for a walk, you come back and you've got burrs all stuck on your pants or in your socks or something like that, and you're really annoyed and you have to go outside and pick them all off, you just moved seeds from A to B. So that's the way that seeds move. So that's our 3 functions. Now we're going to take a look at other ways that plants reproduce besides seeds. Okay, because we were talking about seeds today, I did want to add in at least a little mention of the fact that seeds are not the only way that plants reproduce. So I made up my little tray here. There's not a lot on it, but I did want to talk about what we have. Over here, of course, are the seeds. So that is usually the main way we talk about plants reproducing. Right here in the middle, we have one of my favorite plants. This one is a succulent that we have here in the house. And those reproduce in an interesting way. You can sometimes take a piece of them and plant it down in the dirt and root it out, and that's how you get new succulents. So you can just take a piece of the plant and make a new plant with it. And the last one I have on the tray here is something you've probably seen before. These are bulbs. Bulbs are a different way that plants reproduce, and it's happening under the ground. And there's a couple of ways that they reproduce under the ground where you can't see, but this is the main one. These are bulbs, and so you plant these this side up, and the root grows out of the bottom, and the plant comes out of the top, and then the following year the plant will make more of those. So that's how it's reproducing, is it'll spread around. And you can see this guy actually has started to sprout a little bit there. You can see him. That's all we have for you today. I hope you learned a thing or two. I hope you remembered a few things from last year. I did want to mention a book that I usually share with you in the classrooms. I don't have it here with me, but I found it available on our eMedia site. So if you go to the library website and follow the steps, you can check it out from our eMedia site. It's called A Seed is Sleepy by Diana Aston, and it's really beautiful. So check it out, and I hope I'll see you back again tomorrow with another video. Thanks.